Our thoughts are with Ingrid's family, loved ones, and the community during this incredibly difficult time.
Sun Prairie Police provide an update to a missing woman case, the ongoing investigation that led to a body being found.
And wildfires are affecting thousands on the West Coast, how some UW students are being impacted by the disaster.
Plus, tax season is fast approaching, the new tool available to filers in Wisconsin. It's all coming up now on News 3 Now at 10. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. An update tonight on a case in Sun Prairie where police are investigating the disappearance of 27-year-old Ingrid Isamar Valverde Ponce.
Around 2:30 today, a Dane County deputy found a deceased person in a farm field near Portage Road and State Highway 19. The individual matches Ingrid's description, but confirmation of the identity is pending. The Sun Prairie Police Department says they did receive information that led to a focused search of that area.
We've been given a lot of information from the community, and we've also been able to use law enforcement tools that we have. So we had information that brought us to that area. We don't want to disclose at this time exactly what that information is because it's critical to the investigation, but we did have tips that brought us there.
Police say officers arrested a person of interest for providing false information to them during the investigation. That man is currently in the Dane County Jail.
And now to your first warn forecast. Colder temperatures are on the way for the Madison region.
So just how cold can we expect it to get? Alex joins us with more.
Can you believe it? We're just starting to ease our way out of some of this extreme cold. We got even colder weather on the way, which we've been talking about for some time now. Just look at our temperature trend here over the course of the next 10 days, going all the way up to 41 by the end of the week, and then a big cold front comes through over the course of the weekend. Temperatures dipping down to 3. That's the actual air temperature come Monday going on into Tuesday. The wind chills are going to be significantly colder than that. But also, don't want to forget tonight, wind chills to -10, a little snow to transition us towards that warmer temperature, and then the Arctic blast. Current wind chills right now we're down to -2 in Madison, 4 in the Dells, -4 in Lone Rock, and 0 in Janesville. And when those wind chills will get colder, they'll get down closing in between 0 and 10 below to start off Wednesday morning. Not dangerously cold, but if you're off to work and school, you're certainly going to want to bundle up just the same. Temperatures tomorrow getting into the 20s as clouds on the increase out ahead of a little weather maker that's going to give us a little snow coming up in Maine weather. We'll look at that little snow, see how much snow we can expect. And part of the reason why we transition from cold to that really, really warm stuff that we're expecting by the end of the way is going to be wind. I'm going to show you how strong those winds get and how cold the wind chills get with that next Arctic blast.
All right, thanks, Alex. The Monona Grove School District says a threat made by a student was not credible. However, it is still raising concerns from parents asking for more transparency from the district. A spokesperson is telling us that a photo was posted on social media which included a threat to a school within the district. So the district tells us that the parents of the students directly involved in that incident were contacted. However, others were not. Monona PD issued a statement today saying, quote, "It was determined that the student does not have access to firearms."
Crime has gone down and community partnership has gone up. That's the message from Police Chief Sean Barnes in his 2025 State of Public Safety address today. According to the chief's numbers, Madison saw a 40% decrease in homicides from 2023 for a total of 6 last year. The crimes of aggravated battery, shots fired incidents, robberies and burglaries and car theft all went down, but there were 20% more thefts from vehicles, a total of 742 in 2024.
As you can see from those numbers, that's still a 50% reduction from 2020. What we saw was we had several crime patterns that popped up on us rather quickly. Often when people are looking into vehicles, they look in more than one.
Chief Barnes was chosen to be Seattle's next police chief during the same week of the tragic shooting at Abundant Life School. He says that investigation is taking longer due to several subpoenas to social media companies. Assistant Police Chief John Patterson will be the interim chief when Barnes leaves for Seattle in February.
At the Wisconsin Capitol, Governor Tony Evers today took executive action on gun control. The governor is creating a new state agency, the Office of Violence Prevention. To start, the governor is putting $10 million in federal pandemic aid to that program. It would be up to the Republican legislature to approve long-term funding for the office. The governor says the office will help connect resources like grants between state and local agencies.
I've said from the beginning that I would never accept gun violence as a foregone reality or stop working to change it. And that's why we're here today.
The governor is putting forward this agency as well as a series of gun control bills that he promises to fold into the state budget. The budget process is expected to kick off next month.
Well, this morning, the state Supreme Court heard a case between the state's biggest business lobby, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, and the DNR. Now, the argument is about the DNR's ability to address toxic PFAS under the Wisconsin Spills Law. The DNR's attorney says the spill law requires anyone who causes, possesses, or controls a hazardous substance that was discharged into the environment to take action to restore the affected air, land, and water. The WMC's representative argues the DNR should not have as much regulatory authority as it does now. The Supreme Court could rule on the case within the next couple of months. Today, the State Assembly approved a resolution to put a constitutional question on the ballot this spring. In April, you'll find a question on your ballot asking you whether requiring a Wisconsin photo ID to vote should be a part of the state constitution. Bringing a photo ID to the polls has been a requirement under state law since 2011, but adding it to the Constitution would make it harder for a future legislature to change that law.
High winds initially forecast to threaten the fire zones in Southern California are lighter than expected. This as fire crews have gained a foothold on multiple fronts today. As of midday, the Hearst fire was at 97% contained, the Eaton at 35%, and the Palisades at 17%. A fourth ignition called the Auto Fire started near Ventura Monday night, and at last check, it had burned over 50 acres as fire crews worked to contain it.
We have approximately 88,000 residents that are still under evacuation orders.
Everybody here urges you to remain alert as danger has not yet passed.
Climate experts say what Los Angeles needs is a few soaking rains, enough that plants and soil will soak up the moisture so they don't instantly catch fire and spread ablaze. Now, there is no rain of that scale in the region's forecast for the next 7 days.
It's officially been a week since the fires erupted in LA. This comes as people around the country, including some UW-Madison students, have been impacted by those fires. Clementine and Raleigh Harris have lived in their home in the San Fernando Valley for 15 years. Raleigh graduated from UW-Madison in May. His younger sister Clementine is a freshman here. The siblings evacuated their home because of the fires. The family moved to their grandparents' home in Calabasas, where the wind didn't threaten to start another fire.
We packed a go bag. You know, we had our valuables, we had our identity documents, clothes, all that kind of stuff. So when the time came to really leave, we felt prepared.
Now, the siblings are now back, safe in their home. If you're looking for a way to help those in California, we have a link to donate to the Red Cross up at our website, channel3000.com.
Well, you may have noticed empty shelves or fewer choices of eggs at the grocery store, and the situation may not improve anytime soon. According to the USDA, in November and December alone, more than 17 million egg-laying hens died as a result of the avian flu virus. It will take months to replace those flocks. The average price of a dozen eggs of any kind at the end of December was $4.33. That's up nearly 25% from the beginning of November. Meanwhile, wholesale level inflation ended 2024 on an upward trend. The producer price index increased 0.2 of a point. That's compared to 3 months before. This tallies the average change in prices paid to American-based producers for goods and services. The Bureau of Labor Statistics also reported the PPI rose 3.3% for the year that ended in December.
Well, tax season right around the corner. We know you're excited about that. The IRS says January 27th is the first day the agency will start accepting and processing your 2024 returns. Although the official deadline to file your return, of course, is in April, millions of Americans won't be up against that timeline. Your filing deadline may be different if you live or do business in a federally declared disaster area.
I would just keep in mind, if you were impacted, that you could claim the casualty on your 2024 taxes.
The IRS also says its pilot direct file program will now be open in 25 states. That includes Wisconsin, up from 12 last year when it launched. For those eligible, it'll allow people to file their taxes directly with the IRS for free.
After the break, Alex tells us about the big swing in temperatures coming our way.
And the Senate begins confirmation hearings for President-elect Trump's cabinet picks. The questions that Pete Hegseth faced today on Capitol Hill.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Former Fox News host Pete Hegseth is the first of President-elect Trump's cabinet picks to sit for a Senate confirmation hearing.
Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill, where lawmakers had lots of questions.
October 2017, Democratic lawmakers wasted no time grilling President-elect Trump's defense secretary pick, Pete Hegseth, on excessive drinking and sexual misconduct allegations.
You've admitted that you had sex at that hotel in October 2017. You said it was consensual, isn't that correct? How do you explain your judgment?
Completely false charges against me.
You
fully investigated, and I was completely clear.
You have
Some senators expressed concerns about Hegseth's ability to manage the Pentagon's nearly $1 trillion budget, citing his handling of finances at two veterans nonprofits.
By the time you left, that organization had deep debts, including credit card transaction debts of about $75,000.
Republican Joni Ernst, a veteran herself, questioned Hegseth about the role of women in the military, given Hegseth's past comments that women should not serve in combat roles.
As Secretary of Defense, will you support women continuing to have the opportunity to serve in combat roles?
Yes, women will have access to ground combat roles, given the standards remain high.
A month ago, Hegseth's confirmation appeared in jeopardy, with several Republicans expressing concerns. But since then, President-elect Trump and his allies have rallied around the former Fox News host.
I can't speak for everybody else, but I'd be shocked if anybody voted against him.
Hegseth can afford to lose no more than 3 Republican votes on the Senate floor if all Democrats oppose his nomination. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And the committee is expected to approve Hegseth's nomination for a full Senate vote, but some Republican senators have yet to confirm whether or not they will vote for him when that time comes.
Well, the Department of Justice has released Special Counsel Jack Smith's report on President-elect Trump's attempt to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Smith writes that the admissible evidence was sufficient to, quote, obtain and sustain a conviction at trial. Following the report's release, Trump attacked Smith on social media, calling him a, quote, lame brain prosecutor. Trump has consistently maintained he did nothing wrong.
It's called lawfare. It's called weaponization of justice. I defeated deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged individual.
Now, the Justice Department is withholding a second volume of Smith's report under court order. That part details the investigation into classified documents found at Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. Former First Lady Michelle Obama will not attend the inauguration next week. That's according to a statement from the Obamas, which said former President Barack Obama will be there. The statement did not give an explanation for her decision. The move is a break with tradition. Former presidents and their wives typically attend.
Well, it turns out soon the moon may get some new visitors. Just after midnight tonight, a SpaceX rocket is due to lift off. It will be carrying a pair of commercial lunar landers that will try to touch down in the coming months. One was built by a Japanese company, the other by a Texas-based company called Firefly. That lander will deliver 10 science payloads for NASA, but its primary mission is to pave the way for astronauts to return.
It's been basically the only thing we think about morning, noon, night.
This really is a building largely of 20-somethings, creating the next generation of space.
I think that's one thing that makes us really different is they've been told no so many times in their career, so they don't know what can't be done.
Now, 2 of Firefly's rivals flew into trouble on their first flights last year. One company suffered a mission-ending failure of its propulsion system. The other touched down but tipped lunar over on the surface.
Scientists in Australia have discovered a larger and more venomous species of one of the world's deadliest spiders. Nicknamed Big Boy, the supersized version of the Sydney funnel web spider can grow up to 3.5 inches. That's 1.5 inches longer than the more common species.
This particular spider is a lot larger. Its venom glands are a lot larger and its fangs are a lot longer. So there is the possibility for possibly a deeper penetration through gloves, possibly.
Guys that look like that are never afraid of spiders. The spiders are known for their fast-acting and highly toxic venom, but researchers say the anti-venom used on the current species will work on the big boys too, thank goodness. The nocturnal black arachnids are most active down under between November and April. And if that doesn't cause you nightmares, the weather most certainly will.
And we do have a big swing in temperatures. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington has more. How about those spiders too?
Yeah, they can stay in the southern hemisphere. I'll take the temperatures here. I think in this case, as we climb out of 22, going all the way up to 41 degrees by Friday. Can you believe that? And then a 40-degree swing over the course of just 48 hours. By the time we get into Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, we're in the depths probably some of the coldest temperatures we've seen so far this year, if not the coldest we've seen. And let's track going into tomorrow. You need to know the wind chills because that's really how you need to dress and acclimate for. Starting off the day between 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning, we could see those wind chills briefly getting down to right around 10 below zero. That puts this in the caution category, so bundle up. As we get into the afternoon hours, we get into the cold category, so that will allow you that opportunity with sunny skies to perhaps get outside, maybe get a walk in, bundle up, of course. Temperatures in the low 20s are inching a little bit closer to normal for this time of year. Now, as we warm from the 20s, then into the 30s, and then into the 40s, you got to get there somehow. And it's wind that gets us there, especially in the fall and the winter and the spring. And we're looking at gusty winds Wednesday, so those winds will rev up as we move through the day tomorrow. We'll have gusty winds on Thursday as well, and strong winds on Friday out ahead of that polar cold front, and the winds then will switch around over the weekend, ushering in that cold air mass. There we look at this here by the time we get into Saturday morning. Winds roaring in at about 30 miles per hour with the gusts to bring in the colder air. Also with the warmer air that's coming towards us, we get a little bit of snow activity this time tomorrow night, a couple of snow showers. We could be looking at not necessarily widespread snow, but scattered snow shower activity through at least midnight tomorrow night. That could promote us maybe a dusting, maybe a half inch at most, but it takes little to nothing, as I've been saying all day, 4, 5, 6, and now 10 here, that just a little bit of snow can cause a couple of icy spots on the road, so just don't let your guard down tomorrow night going on into Thursday morning. Then we turn our attention Monday and Tuesday, wind chills to minus 25 to minus 30 degrees. Let's take a look at what those wind chills could look like. Here's Monday morning, just as an example, minus 24 in Madison, minus 23 in Boscobel, minus 29 to the north in Wautoma. That's the wind chill that we're up against Monday, and then we'll repeat it again on Tuesday. Just looking at the weather models here, we're probably going to add alert day as well for Sunday as well, with wind chills again getting very, very cold. I said in the 6 o'clock show, a little bit of data. December 1st to right about now, our average right now is 33 degrees, okay? Our average temp. Normal over 156 years of records between that same time frame is 22. So even though we've had these brief cold snaps, don't forget we've had a lot of warm-ups. For example, the warm-up that we had over New Year's with temperatures near 50 degrees is currently keeping our temperature average, at least for now, above normal.
And coming up in sports, the Badgers barely beat the Buckeyes, but a win's a win. How they got it done next in sports on News 3 Now. It's been a good start to the week for Wisconsin. Monday, they jump back into the AP Top 25. Max Klesmit and his ankle are healthy. The Badgers currently on a 5-game winning streak. Greg Gard looking for win number 200 at UW. His team taking on Ohio State. And Stephen Crowl was doing what he's been doing in the paint lately. Playing like Big Steve. He drops home the deuce to put Wisconsin up 15-6. Crowl finished with 14 and 7. Then later in the first half, it's Kamari McGee's turn. The Energizer Badger gonna sink the fadeaway, Jay. McGee had 9 points off the bench, and that Badger defense was up for the challenge early. John Tonje gonna dine and dash here with the steal, and you know what time it is. He rocks the rim, and Wisconsin holds on for a 70-68 win. And speaking of the Badger men's basketball team, be sure to check out this week's Wisconsin Huddle with Kamari McGee. Show airs on Friday at 6:30 right here on News 3 Now. After playing 4 games in 8 days in 3 different locations, the Badger men's hockey team got a much-needed week off. But now Mike Hastings' squad is back on the ice, looking to close out the second half of their season strong. 4 of their final 6 series are in the friendly confines of the Kohl Center, starting with a non-conference matchup against Long Island, a team Wisconsin knows that will be bringing their best to Madison.
Gives us an opportunity to finish our non-conference the way that you want to. And it's going to be a test if anybody's done their homework on who's coming in here and what they've done and who they've beaten, what their numbers are on a nightly basis, power play, penalty kill. They're very well coached. So we've got a test from here out until the season's done. But we're excited about being back in our own building. Now we've got to take advantage of it.
On the women's side, Ava McNaughton has been named a finalist for the National Women's Goalie of the Year. In 23 games this season, McNaughton has 21 wins and 7 shutouts. She's allowing just over 1 goal per game with a save percentage of .95. Well, 2 days after their season came to an end in Philly, Matt LaFleur has announced a coaching change. Quarterback guru Tom Clements is retiring. Now, his first stint with the Packers was from 2006 to 2016, and then he rejoined the franchise in 2022. Now, get this, he's the only guy to work with Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Jordan Love.
Obviously, he's had the opportunity to coach some of the best. I mean, when you talk about Favre, Rodgers, and then the development of Jordan Love, I mean, that's pretty cool. And so I know he's meant a lot to this organization and his contributions, and he will definitely be missed. And I can't say enough great things about him.
And we're back after this.
We're less than a week away from Trump's inauguration. It feels like we're all James Bond strapped to the table, and the laser is slowly inching toward our crotch.
All new CBS tonight.
Well, check this out. Authorities had to remove a coyote from a grocery store in Chicago Monday, all caught on camera. This video viewed millions of times now, showing police yanking the confused animal by the tail from the produce section at this Aldi store in Humboldt Park.
Yeah, witnesses say the animal had been roaming the parking lot when it somehow ended up inside the store. Police and Chicago Animal Care and Control safely removing the coyote safely-ish.
Ouch.
I know.
Painfully, however.
Been hiding in a cooler beneath a selection of fine cheeses. Smart one, I guess.
It appeared to be okay. They said it wasn't harmed,
Right.
and they're going to try to take care of it and eventually release it back out into the wild. Probably just looking to get out of the cold, Alex.
I don't blame the
Coyote.
Get my animals right. Don't blame the animal. Want to be inside, stay warm, at least for now. But as we take a peek here at next week, you might want to go back into all these, I guess, with temperatures minus 20 to 30 below, wind chills as we go into Monday and going into Tuesday of next week. Not before that 41. You might want to enjoy some time outside, maybe get a walk in before things change, that crash happens, and we do that 40-degree swing over 48 hours.
That is a wild roller coaster ride. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Have a good night.